The two media outlets that I chose to analyze were Fox News and CNN. I chose these two because they have opposing political views, Fox News being conservative and CNN more liberal. I chose three stories that the two outlets shared and applied the theories from lecture to those stories. The first story was the housing situation at the border for children. On the CNN outlet, it was framed in a negative connotation. The story was set up to show viewers that the children were being treated inhumanely by telling them that there was no soap, no showers, no restroom facilities, no monitors for the children to watch them, supervise them, and that if the children were sent to alternative housing, they might fall prey to child predators, and so on and so forth. It also addressed that the bill that was being passed or looked at in Congress was not being addressed quickly enough, that there was not going to be funding issued to the situation to help alleviate the problems for the children. It definitely pointed out that there was flaws in Trump's administration when it came to how we were handling the children in this immigration situation. Also at the bottom of the screen, to prime viewers of the importance of this story, were the words breaking news. On the Fox News channel, however, this story was framed to be more positive and possibly uplifting or hopeful. They definitely pointed out that there was cooperation going on in Congress, that Democrats and Republicans alike were talking and sharing and cooperating to add things to the bill and hopefully pass it quickly to alleviate the problem. So there was more hope. The story was framed as if people were working together to help with the children. The second story that I looked at was the Jussie Smollett story. I feel like this story was framed similarly on both outlets. They both used visuals of the new information provided in the case, the noose around his neck, the kidnapper scene. I think these were used to prime viewers of previous noose situations like KKK hangings, and incite anger or outrage that we had not handled this case and it had not been taken as seriously as it should have for somebody creating such a scene and wasting such resources and time of important police and officials that investigated this story. They also pointed out both venues' flaws in his attorney's case and how she had handled things and so on and so forth. So I feel like both framed it the same way. I also feel that there was some gatekeeping involved because nothing from his side or his legal aid was addressed in the story. It was just this new information about the video footage and how we should be so mad that something like this had occurred. The final story that I looked at was the situation with the farming in states like Iowa, and that there was a lot of bankruptcies and lack of crops and farmers who were struggling. On CNN, again, this was framed as a failure for the Trump administration, that funding had not come through for farmers, that the trade limitations with China that were imposed were hurting the farmers, and that he had created these bankruptcies for these supporters of his administration. States like Iowa and Minnesota, who had reached out to be supporters of the Trump administration, were now suffering hardships and economic struggles. This story was primed with images of farmers and flooded fields and machinery that was not being used. On the flip side, on Fox News, it was shown that the subsidies that Trump was offering was making farmers hopeful, and that they were hoping that the economic situation would resolve itself quickly. So it was definitely framed in a more positive light, that farmers were still hopeful for the future. Finally, the implications that this poses for digital practitioners is that we always need to make sure we're watching a wide variety of news outlets so that we get a full picture of the news and it's not just being shared with our opinions or the agenda of that news source being positive or a spin for us to listen to. We need to make sure that we know all sides of a story and see all viewpoints in order to form our own view. Thank you.